Okay, got back from a food shop to find this on the doormat. Let me just stress very quickly that I promise you I've not flicked through it. So when I open that page, I don't know what's going to be inside, but what I am thinking is, as a little test, let's talk about the issues of the day. The issues of the day are things like the cost of private renting, the cost of living crisis, energy bills, school places, health, NHS, council tax at record levels, etc. So let's have a look. So this is John Peach. He used to represent Parkwall for many years, where he lives, and he got beaten by the efforts of what's his name, John Shearman and Richard Ferris, and stood here last year, which is I think the last time I got a newsletter from the Tories. A couple of British flags there, in case you forget what your flag looks like. There's Brian on his bike and a sign saying slow down. Problem with that vehicle activated sign is it doesn't actually record data, so it's just a flashing light, i.e. they should really record data, times and that sort of thing, and that should be shared so that relevant authorities will know when the worst times are, but that doesn't happen. There they are having so much drink. Here we go, we're going inside. So label it does. Right, so basically trying to scare me and you, despite the fact that they have increased council tax to record levels, and like I've said elsewhere, they are going to increase council tax in Peterborough in the coming 2 years by 10% at least. Standing up for your area. That doesn't look like our area. Might be wrong though. Our drivers in the Lib Dem firing lane. Hopefully, because we need to cut back on driving, simply because car pollution creates cancer and asthma amongst children specifically. So yeah, personally speaking, I'd like to see a lot less driving going on. 20 plenty. Well, don't forget the Tories have had 23 years running the City Council in Peterborough, so any sort of schemes they come up with now, I would suggest that they could have introduced them long before. And then we're going to Lib Dem's voice. Lib Dems voted against increased police funding 4 years in a row. You've got to remember, and this is me being fair, that Lib Dems were part of the coalition, and so a lot of the austerity measures and cuts were also the responsibility of Lib Dems. That is true, but equally the Tories were involved in cutting police numbers to record numbers, in a negative manner. More action by John Peach. Oh dear, what's that hat, mate? Thanks for returning resident surveys. So they're nicking the old Lib Dems idea of doing resident surveys. Doesn't say how many they've had returned. And what's on the back? Ruta Dalton. That's a name I haven't seen for a long time. So she is, from my own conversation with her, she is someone who's born in Russia. She's married to Matthew Dalton, who is the son of the Dalton Seeds legacy company, whatever, who has a very high paid job at Dalton Seeds. I think his dad owns it. Not sure how he managed to get such a well paid job. Anyway, Ruta, she stood for this area a couple of years ago and hasn't been seen since. George, the old former mayor, and then Billy Boy Bristow, who never puts his Peterborough address on there. Never. I don't know why. So if you vote for John, he's going to clean up our city, repair roads and footpaths, making our streets safer. Again, just highlight the fact that the Tories, and even John when he was a councillor for many years, a lot of the problems that we're incurring now in Peterborough are down to 23 years of the Conservatives in control of Peterborough City Council. And that's John next to a tree with Brian and George Simons. I'm guessing that's probably near to where George lives. He lives down Borrowdale Close. I think he's one of them who's got one of them flags up. But yeah, that is the latest news from the boy Peach. His mum and dad left him a lot of properties so that he could become a landlord. I think he did do some work at the Peterborough Telegraph as well. He told me once, because I said to him, "Have you ever actually had a proper job?" And I think he said, "Oh, I used to work in sales and marketing at the Peterborough Telegraph, whatever." Yeah, be interesting to see how many votes he gets.